friends. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin and I'm so happy that you decided to take time out of your day to spend with me, because today we are embracing the fall coziness. And I know that some of us really love reading when the weather cools off and it's fall. So today I want to read kind of like I guess it's a subgenre of books that I just really love and really enjoy, and that is reading books about bookish people, books about writers and authors, just really being immersed in the bookish world. Those are some of my favorite books to read, and so I just want to take time this week and read some of those books. And of course, as always, I have a plan of books that I would like to read, but you know me by now, things could change. But if we stick to the plan, there are 4 books that I'm hoping that I can get to this week that are bookish books. The first one being Love at First Book by Jenn McKinlay. And then we have Better Than Fiction by Alexa Martin. The third book would be The Bookbinder's Guide to Love by Katherine, Garbera. And finally, a book that I have been putting off for entirely too long, The Neighbor Favor by Kristina. So, if all goes to plan, all 4 of those books will be read, and I will just get to embrace all the coziness of bookish books. So, let's get into these books and see what I think about them. Okay, y'all. So I meant to be coming back to you with an update, but I ended up binging this book last night and I finished it. And that is Love at First Book. So let us talk about it. I ended up having a really good time reading this book. I've also got named Emily, who moves to Ireland just because she is needing a change of pace at life. She's trying to get away from her mother and just kind of figure out like who she is and kind of like follow one of her dreams. And her plan is to be an assistant to her favorite author who wrote a series that she grew up reading as a child, but the series was never finished. So she wrote a letter asking the author to finish the series, and now she is her assistant helping her finish the series out. And so while she's there, she'll be part-time being an assistant for this author. So the author's name is Siobhan. And so Siobhan and her son, Kieran, own a bookstore named The Last Chapter. So that is where Emily is splitting her time. And this was so atmospheric. Like, I knew I was going to love the Ireland vibes that it was given. And I definitely did. I loved hearing about the places they were visiting and just like, yeah, the atmosphere was really super cool. I did feel for Emily because like her mom wasn't the best person and like guilted her into a lot of things, and she spent a lot of her 20s taking care of her mother after her father left them, and so she just hasn't really had a chance to figure out who she is and what she wants out of life. So she feels like going to Ireland is her big adventure and her chance to, you know, figure out who Emily is and what Emily wants to do. But of course, her mother is making her feel guilty for being there. And it's just this whole thing. Siobhan's son, Kieran, doesn't really want Emily around and is giving Emily the cold shoulder, and she doesn't really know why. So we have Siobhan, who is having some health issues, and Kieran, who's trying to protect and take care of his mother. And then you also have Emily, who is trying to play peacemaker between the two because she is, you know, kind of on both sides. She wants Siobhan's health to be better, of course, but she also wants Siobhan to finish writing the book and finish off the series that she loves so much. So she is kind of thrown into that role, and we kind of figure out what's going to happen, how it happens, and all the things. And so, yeah, okay. So my feelings on this book are that I really enjoyed the character growth that Emily had throughout this book, and seeing her stand up for herself and not let her mother guilt her into things that she does not want, and standing up to her mother. I really enjoyed that journey. I did feel like the relationship between Kieran and Emily swapped pretty quick. But it was nothing that, took me out of the story or made me feel some type of way. I think this was a cute time. It was fun. There was some, really heartfelt moments, some emotional moments, and yeah, I just was pretty good. And so I ended up rating this a 3.5 star because I really enjoyed it, but I don't think it's one that will like stick in my memory for a long time and I can feel it fading away. I kind of feel that already just because I don't really have a great memory. So if a book is already leaving me and I just finished it last night, I mean, that kind of tells you everything you need to know. So, yes, I had a good time reading this book. I definitely recommend, if you're looking for, that Irish vibe. I don't know. I definitely recommend picking this up. It was fun. It's a great bookish book. We have authors, we have bookstores, all the things that just make up a really good bookish book. And yeah, I think I'm rambling now, so I'm just gonna stop talking. Okay, I said I was done, but I forgot. The cutest part of this book is that Kieran and Emily, they would say these obscure literary quotes and try to like trip the other one up and see if they knew where it came from. And every time they got it right, and I just thought it was so cute that they are out here like quoting books to each other and like, oh, I know where that's from. I'm like, oh my God, that's the cutest thing ever. Like somebody quote a book to me. I probably won't know what book it came from, but like it's cute anyway. So yeah, I just had to jump back in and say that because that was like the best part of the book to me. And I can't believe I forgot it when I was rambling on about it first time. But anyway, yeah. Okay, y'all. So between last night and this morning, I basically binged the Bookbinder's Guide to Love by Katherine Garbera. Garbera? Sorry, I'm butchering that. And let's talk about it. So I didn't like it. Let's put it that way. I think that the setup had a lot of potential because we followed our main character, Sarah. And Sarah is an orphan who grew up in foster homes, who didn't really, trust anyone because people always left her or she had to like change homes or something like that. And so she had finally like moved to this town and met her two best friends, and they opened up this bookshop slash tea shop slash tarot reading shop together. It is rumored that the three of them are like this witch coven for whatever reasons, and the celebrity comes in and her career blows up and she attributes that success to their shop. So they have essentially been skyrocketed into like success, and there's a lot of people like trying to get in and trying to get Sarah's journals because she binds her own journals and she binds them with intentions in them. And so that's kind of where the witchy aspect comes from. So Sarah befriends this old man named Ford, and Ford dies, and leaves Sarah some books, and that upset his grandson, which is Wes. Wes comes at Sarah basically saying that she manipulated his grandfather into giving her the books, blah, blah, blah. And then it turns out that Wes and Sarah are indeed attracted to each other, so they have a trade off. Sarah will tell Wes about his grandfather in his last years of life, and Wes will help Sarah out in her shop because she needs help now to fulfill the amount of orders that she's getting. So we go into that, and they immediately start hooking up and then eventually come to see that they like each other. And this this didn't have plot. There was no plot besides what I just said. And when you reach that point at the beginning of this book, everything afterwards is a cycle of them liking each other and saying that they like each other and then backing away from liking each other. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, they both have trust issues, they both have relationship issues, but y'all are like almost 30, and like the way that y'all are acting is like teenagers. Like, I like you. Okay, I told you that I liked you, but then, like, how do I even explain it? It's like they were saying and doing, I don't know. It just felt like they were making such a big deal for saying that they liked each other. Like, and they had to say it repeatedly. So it's like they would say they like each other and then, continue on in their little happy relationship or whatever it was. And then, like, a day later, oh my God, I don't know if she still likes me. I don't know if he still likes me. Like, do you still like me? And like, what? Grow up. Like, I know that everybody has like their trauma or whatever. Lex, is that you? Oh, whew, you scared me. Like, I get that, but like, y'all, this was ridiculous. And like I said, I feel like there was no plot. It was just them being scared to like each other. And I just wasn't a fan. It just didn't do it for me. And yeah, I don't really have much to say because I don't want to spend a lot of time bashing this book. But anyway, I ended up rating this a 2 star, and we're just gonna move on like that didn't happen. Luckily, it was short though. It was like under 300 pages, which is the only reason why I decided to push through and finish it, because if not, I definitely would have DNF'd. But, just glad it's over. Okay, so I'm about 100 pages into the neighbor favor, and I guess I'm ready to talk a little bit about it. But first, I want to say, like, the first 60 pages of this book was all emails. And while I love mixed media, I just felt like it was a little bit of overkill, and at a certain point, it just kind of took away from, what was going on. Like, I understood why it was done because we needed the full story, but maybe like insert a little bit to break it up. Like, 60 pages of just emails is a lot. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. But we have our main character, Lily, who is on the shy side and who is the youngest of three sisters. And she's often compared to her sisters, and she feels that weight from her parents to be this successful person and have this high power career and do those things. But that's not necessarily what Lily wants for herself. She just wants to be an editor for children's books, and she is having a hard time trying to get to that point. She's been an assistant for an editor in the nonfiction section, but to cross over from nonfiction to children's books, you know, it's a thing. And she's struggling trying to make that transition. And she has this book that she loves, and she has been trying to figure out who the author is and, if there's going to be a next book in the series. And one day she searches up the author and finds out that he has a website. So she drafts an email, but it ends up getting sent to him anyway, and they strike up this friendship and email back and forth for the better part of a year. And then once she kind of asks him if he wants to, video chat, he ghosts her. And yeah. So that's kind of where we are. Then we have Violet's sister getting married, and of course, they want her to find a date for the wedding. So she sets up this uh, bet with her sisters, and Lily has to find a date for the wedding. And if she finds it on her own, then her sisters will stop bothering her and stop making her go on dates with people that she's really not interested in anyway. And if she can not find a date for the wedding on her own, then her sisters will continue to pick dates for her, and she'll go on them without any, what's the word, she'll stop complaining and just go on however many dates that they want her to, basically. So Nick ends up moving to New York because his book series got picked up by a major publisher, and Lily lives in New York, and they end up in the same apartment building on the same floor because Lily is staying at her sister's apartment, but they don't know who each other is, and they think each other is attractive, and they're just like having little cute moments, but they haven't actually had full conversations yet. So having a good time with this. Why did I throw that and I'm still talking about it? I do like Nick. He has some issues, and I understand his issues fully. I like Lily as a character. I want her to eventually have her stand up for herself moment and tell everybody to leave her alone and let her do what she wants to do. Maybe, hopefully, we will get that. But yeah, just chilling, having a good time. Okay, y'all, so forgive my scratchy voice, but I've been doing walks around the neighborhood this week, and the allergies go allergy. Me and my emotional support sweatshirt are back to say that we have finished The Neighbor Favor. And I had a really good time reading this book. I thought it was really cute. I liked the main characters. I loved that we were talking about books, and that Lily was in publishing, and that Nick was an author. So it was a lot of bookish things, which is what I was looking for in this vlog. And I ended up rating this a 4-star, and I was kind of going back and forth with it a little bit because I really did enjoy it, but when I compared it to some of my 4.5 or 5 stars, it just wasn't on that level to me. And I think one of the main things that kind of, I don't want to say maybe not like it as much, because I really loved this book. I think one of the things that kind of held me up from giving this a 5-star is that I felt like we were on this cycle. I felt like Nick and Lily would take 1 or 2 steps forward just to take 3 steps back. And it was just this continuous will they, won't they, will they, won't they. And it almost became a little annoying to me because on top of the will they, won't they, both of them being scared, it was also the fact that Nick knew who Lily was and Lily didn't know who Nick was. And I'm just like, when you gonna tell her? But yeah, I definitely got my Lily standing up to her family moment, and I was so happy. I was rooting for her out loud. I was like, yes sis, gather everybody, get everybody together, stand up for yourself. Like, I loved that for sure. And I was just so happy that she got to find her voice outside of the relationship, and also that Nick got to deal with his family issues and his personal issues outside of the relationship, so that they could come together and be better for each other. And so I just had a really great time with this book. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. Yeah, I just, now I know what I want to say. I loved how they were nerding out over the books that they really enjoyed, and how they were mentioning, like, how Kristina Forrest mentioned, like, actual books that I'm guessing she really enjoyed, and had Lily and Nick talking about them. I thought that was so cute. And yeah, I guess that is really all that I have. And next I want to talk about this. Let's talk about this. So this is supposed to be the fourth and final book for this vlog. I picked it up, I opened the first page and knew it was going to be an I knew that this was not going to work for me, but I decided to push through anyway. And I read like the first 2 chapters, and I think that ended up being about, let's see, about 22 pages. And when I tell you I suffered for 22 pages, that's what I did. I'm not going to talk long about this book because I didn't read enough to talk about it for a long time, but I am just going to tell you I'm not reading this. Hard no. And I will say that the reason why I'm not reading this is because our main character, whose head we are in, is insufferable. I didn't like her. I didn't like the way she talked about things, how she talked about life, how she talked about other people. Like she thought, you know, no, I'm not gonna do it. And I understand because we talk about, you know, right off the bat how she has daddy issues and how, you know, that has really taken over her life and who she is. But I'm not about to deal and sit in her head and throughout this entire book. It's just not for me. So this will be going up on my finger. So if you want it, you can find it there. But I will not be reading this book ever. And with that being said, that is the end of this video. I hate to end it on such a negative note, but I promise you I tried. Like, I wanted to not read it after that first page, but I decided to keep going to see if it got better. And it just didn't work for me. And that happens sometimes. I'm not saying anything bad about the author or anything really bad about the story because I don't know enough about either to say that. I just know that she was not for me. It was not the moment. So let's wrap up what we did read in this book. In this vlog about books. So we started off with Love at First Book, and I had such a great time reading that. It gave me all the Irish cozy vibes that I wanted, and that ended up being a 3.5. And then we went into the Bookbinder's Guide to Love, and that wasn't as successful. I didn't like that either, but it was okay, I guess. I ended up giving it a 2.5, or no, a 2-star. So it was okay, I guess. And then we rounded it out with the shining star from this vlog, and that is The Neighbor Favor. Came in at a 4-star. And so, you know, this vlog was such a mixed bag, but I did really enjoy reading books about books, and I plan on doing this again because there's just so many books about books and I love them. So we will be doing this again, and hopefully it will be more successful the next go around. But anyway, thank you so much for staying with me to the end of this vlog. If you have any suggestions for books about books that I could read next time, please leave them in the comments below. And I hope that you have the best day that you possibly can, and I will for sure catch you in the next one. Bye.